Today I would like to talk about what's inside my book. I've spent a long time thinking about the layout, but I spent a year writing the book. So really what's important for me is what's inside more than layout, because the layout, I just tried to do a mock-up here. This is the dimension that I want. I like it, but it doesn't look the way I want it yet. And that has been a bit frustrating because I want it to be a very good looking book as well as being nicely written. It's not there yet. It doesn't look the way I want it yet. So I'm going to keep working on that until it's perfect, or at least until I like it, and then get it bound professionally. And I can't wait to have that happen. But I have to wait because I don't want to wait. I would like to just print it now and have it, but it isn't good enough yet. But I think the writing is quite good. My book is called The Beautiful Business Model. And when you look inside, it's clear that there are 3 parts to the book. One is called The Beauty of Craftsmanship, one is called The Ideal Atelier, and one is called Improving. These are the 3 aspects of the book. So now I'm going to go through the book and talk about the things that sparked my interest in it, that's the big topics of the book. So at first it talks about why craftsmanship is beautiful and why it's worthwhile. And I think, so it says it's about admiration, that few areas in life are worthy of admiration or has so much to teach. We can admire the dedication of artisans striving for excellence, and we can learn from the value of doing less more thoroughly. And I think that's what the book is about, basically, that we can learn a lot from artisans, and it's beautiful. Just the fact of striving to do the best you can is beautiful. And that's why it's a beautiful business model. It isn't just because I think I've seen a way where you can make money, because I think you can make a profitable atelier. I think that's possible. I think it's possible to improve them to what's there now. And I think it's a good competitor to luxury. But I think above that it's also beautiful, because there's this like ideal of striving for excellence. That's why I wrote this book. That's why I'm interested in craftsmanship, because I think that's so beautiful. Let's talk about the beauty of craftsmanship. How when you walk into an atelier, it's a magical place for me. The smells and the sounds of an atelier, just seeing tailors sitting on their own tables, sewing by hand. There's something amazing about that. And I think if you haven't seen it yet, that experience the first time, but even when you come back, it's amazing to me. And I think that's what every craftsmanship company should share with the world. Because if you just see a final product, it's not the same as understanding how it was made. And that's what craftsmanship is about. It's about appreciating craftsmanship. You try to understand it a little bit, and the more you understand it, the more you appreciate, wow, this takes skill and time and dedication to do. And that's why it's beautiful. So I start by outlining the differences between made-to-order production and mass production. There are many differences between these 2 production methods, but I think although mass production is all around us, it's worth thinking twice about it and saying, does it really make sense to make everything mass produced? I think especially luxury goods should be made to order, because there's just less waste, it's better quality, and you get something with more meaning behind it to you because it was made for you. So that's what my first chapter is about. So the second chapter is called The Ideal Atelier, and it starts by saying, construct the ideal craftsmanship company in the world of imagination and ideals, and then try to build it. How should the structure be? How should the supply chain be? How should the work environment be? All these things, what would be the ideal? So I try to imagine it, so then someone can try to build it, or at least build towards that, because it'll be hard to achieve something ideal. I think all craftsmanship companies can learn from this and try to move towards the ideal. And I think it's good to be idealistic and ambitious when you're trying to create something beautiful. I start by outlining the goals of, I think, a good atelier. That an ideal atelier should be profitable, it should be a lovely place to be and work, and it should create beautiful craftsmanship. And I think those are goals that, if you have those goals and really stick to them, I think something beautiful will happen. A lot of different companies could be ideal ateliers, like there could be a lot of different ateliers. But each atelier should have both all the things that make it ideal and then something unique, something that makes it special. So then I talk about what I would do in my case. So I would like to create Lyng Atelier. So I describe here in the book, what should Lyng Atelier look like? Then I say that it should be a lovely place to work, because I think that any company that isn't a lovely place to work are really missing on something. Why not make it lovely for everyone to be there? I think a lot of people have tried working places that aren't lovely, and that's a waste of time for everyone, I think. why shouldn't the workplace be as lovely as possible? So I think just having that as a goal is good. Then I've written the business plan of Lyng Atelier, and it's based on a set of assumptions that if they are true, then the strategy should make sense. So the assumptions are that right now, the luxury market is undervaluing craftsmanship and putting too much focus on marketing and status symbols. Then right now, a lot of other ateliers are independent and small, and they are missing a lot of opportunities in like digital and communication, but also in synergy between crafts. That if you're too independent, if it's just one craft, you cannot benefit from the synergies between the different crafts, and I think that's a shame. And then I think there's a trend that more and more people are interested in craftsmanship. And finally, there's the assumption that in order to appreciate craftsmanship, you have to see it and you have to understand it. Lyng Atelier is a business plan that meets these assumptions head on. That by showing the beauty of craftsmanship, it can make people appreciate it. And by combining different crafts, you can have synergy between them. And by using cheap and honest marketing, you can have a beautiful atelier and have beautiful craftsmanship and reach luxury clients instead of using a lot of money on marketing. So Lyng Atelier goes against what all the ateliers are doing now and what luxury is doing, and tries to create something in the middle, but even better than both, really. That's really my hope. And then the final chapter is about improving, how you can improve an atelier. So not just trying to create the ideal atelier, but how to improve an existing atelier. I talk about how the strategy can be implemented in the short term, medium term, and long term. Then at the end of the book, there's a checklist that all ateliers could use to try to improve. So, for example, it says, use cheap and honest marketing, embrace digital, show the beauty of craftsmanship, create an effective administration system. And then it talks about like how to improve craftsmanship and how to improve your strategy. And then at the very end of the book, there are some ideas that didn't fit into the book so well, but like little short essays that I wanted to include anyways. So I mentioned stoicism, I mentioned how luxury goods work. I talk about Charlie Munger, who I'm a big fan of. I talk about LVMH, how LVMH is the big luxury conglomerate that is built more on desire, and how maybe it would be just as good or even better to be based on admiration, because desire can seem a bit fleeting, whereas admiration would be a more healthy approach. Maybe it sells a bit less, but maybe it's more healthy in the long run. Then I talk about Jean d'Ormesson and Hubert Givenchy. And I end with a quote that's also like linked to stoicism, that you are not your body and hairstyle, but your capacity for choosing well. If your choices are beautiful, so too will you be. That's how I end the book.